Welcome to another episode of the Most Serious Podcast. And believe it or not, this is one of the topics that has been on my mind for so long for the show, and personally for myself, to get an expert on artificial intelligence, to get a person who's put their hands on this thing and tried, tinkered, and played with it as much as you have, Gaurav. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you so much for taking this time out on a Friday morning. I know I have created a habit of recording episodes on Fridays, but thank you so much for being here, man.
Super, super. Really excited about the serious podcast, and we'll do anything to keep it not serious.
I think I should now put a disclaimer whenever I send an invite out to a guest. This is actually not the most serious podcast, but in some senses, it is. So very excited to sit and talk AI with you, and I want to really start at the present, and not go back and discover what AI is, or how computers were invented. Let's just start at 2024, and what date is it? Like whatever May end and things like that. So like how are things currently? Let's start with that. If you have to give a rundown of what the world is looking like currently, how do you describe it? How do you feel it's different from the past times? And do you feel that we are headed towards those directions of AGI and AI taking all over all of us? Where do you want to begin this conversation of how is our present looking like with artificial intelligence?
Just grabbing the bull by its horns, I will be like really upfront with you, and thanks for the super introduction.
Yeah.
But I really don't classify myself as an AI expert because every day there's something brand new. And how can you
Hmm.
be like an expert or something that has launched yesterday? You
Yeah.
know, that's truly the case with AI. I tried recording a course. I was planning to sell a program, learn AI in 3 days, 20, 30 videos. So by the time I reach the 20th video, there'll be like a new software update, which makes like everything that I just recorded useless. Suddenly I'm recording on 3.5, ChatGPT 3.5, and there's 4. Now, how can I teach you about 3.5, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, and like you said, let's talk about today, 31st of May. There's so much stuff that literally wasn't there last week.
Yeah.
It's literally that fast in terms of
Hmm.
AI. But what I can tell you is I'm a super fan of any kind of tool that's going to save me time or is going to save me money. And
Hmm.
with that said, like even what is humanity looking like and all, no, I think that's a very far off conversation, which it actually doesn't like excite me as much as what's happening today. Like, what can I
Hmm.
do like today, right now, to make AI an advantage? Bottom line, to make more money. How
Hmm.
can I use AI to make more money? And if that is where we're headed, if we're headed towards an AI world, one of the first things I want to learn is how do I AI proof myself? Like what do I need
Yeah.
to be doing? And the beauty is like, I was telling you about how awesome it is for you to have started early. And I
Yeah.
can vouch for that because even I started like now about 20, 22 years ago. So when you were like just born, I started. Uh, Now it sounds crazy because I thought I was young, but I'm
Man,
40
you
now.
don't look the age.
Yeah, I'm 40 now. Two kids, one wife, two dogs.
I think you should try out some acting gig for a young college student. I think they'll give you that role. Something like a Social Network part 2. I think you should put that in the ear of people who are producing that.
That's such a good idea. That's an amazing idea, and let's see.
Yeah.
Things
So
are so much.
how do you I think I want to trace back to what you just said. You just said first thing I would want to know, being you, is how can I make more money with AI? Okay. Now tell me, how does one person even start breaking this sentence down into something actionable? If someone hears it, make more money with AI, what is my next step?
Yeah, so that's like a really good question, and I think that's where people kind of go wrong, where they say, "I'm going to make money with AI," and while in principle that is correct, the first thing you need to have is a business.
Okay.
Out of business, like what money will you make? Now you can use AI to help you build that business,
Yeah.
but you still need to have a business.
Hmm.
So whether it's selling an information product, whether it's selling a template, whether it's selling software, whether it's selling a course, whether you're like a offline agency and you just need leads, maybe
Yeah.
you're a restaurant, you're a spa, you're any of these things, you just need footfall.
Yeah.
So whatever your business is, whether you're a factory or anything else, bottom line is you need traffic to your website, right? First, you need a business, then you need a website, and then you have to have traffic coming to your website.
Yeah.
That's it. That is all. That's how you make money on the internet today.
Hmm.
Have like an offer, like what is your offer? You get people to see that offer, and out of those 100 people, some people will buy, maybe it's 2% or 3 people or 5 people or 10 people, whatever it is. That's how basically you make money on the internet. All you
Hmm.
need is a Razorpay account or an InstaMojo account or a Paytm account or a GPay QR code, some way to accept payment,
Hmm.
right? As long as you have that and you have an offer, if the offer is decent, some people will buy. If the offer is really good, more people will buy. That is step
Hmm.
one of how to make money. That's the basics. That's the foundations. If you
Yeah.
don't have this, then like AI is not going to magically
Yeah.
pick you up and being like, bro, I got an idea for you. Let me execute it and make you money. You chill.
Have you seen that? I recently saw this on Instagram. Google Pay Unlimited Money Mod APK or something like that.
where you basically pay AI to run commands for you, right?
Yeah. I
So
think
that's
I think this is so counterintuitive what you just said. So I think people are viewing this in this light, and it's rightly you mentioned this, that people kind of assume that with this advent of AI, that everything with your, like, you essentially become what you become, like a piece of just mind. You become your mind. You just can think things. I think people just are giving all the responsibility or giving up all access of doing anything to AI, and as if it's just going to start doing things on your own and start going to serve you. But you have to realize, in my understanding, it's a tool. It's a very, very advanced tool. Maybe we don't even understand half of it, but it's a tool at the end of the day. As good as a gun is, there needs to be someone who picks it up and uses it for whatever purpose they want it to.
yeah.
So I think that is still the missing piece when it comes to conversations for making people understand AI. Because I just find a block in terms of, how much they want to give it a shot to understand it. So many people are just like, okay, they've just built a hypothesis of what artificial intelligence is, and they just don't want to expand beyond that, which I feel is really going to be a problem for them moving forward in their careers, or, whatever work they do. Do you feel that's the case?
I think you summed it up like really well. Bottom line is that AI is a tool. And just like today during my shower, I was listening to some podcast, and they said that imagine you have the opportunity to talk to Albert Einstein, and you're going and asking him to maybe proofread your essay that you've written, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having like a deep conversation of like some crazy stuff that can very well benefit you if you
Yeah.
had experience, you're saying that, okay, rewrite this in your words. Or, but what that AI can actually do, like you said, we don't even understand.
Hmm.
We'll be kidding ourselves to say that, oh yeah, we know. That's why I feel like I have the domain name AIexpert.com, but
Yeah.
I'm shy to use it because I'm like, dude, who is an expert in AI? Like, if you're sitting in some in Google or in OpenAI and doing some hardcore programming, it's
Yeah.
difficult to.
Do you do you do you think about the fact, on what you just said, that having this I think I really like this about you, that you have this humbleness and this awareness of this is a so fast paced changing world of AI, that you can never call yourself an expert. I think essentially no one can,
Yeah.
unless the people who are actually hard coding possibly the GPT's wiring. So outside of that, I really liked your title of Lazy G, and I think it plays on something which has been which people are, kind of like a top G Andrew Tate, but I think you've made it quirky and funny. So do you think people sometimes miss the point whenever there is a tool like an AI or something like that? I think it's always been viewed in so negativity. Like, it's going to take our jobs, it's going to eat us all up, it's going to just, it's a pessimist's world. But I just feel there can be so many use cases of people being at rest and understanding that, this is at the end of the day here to help me, and it's us who've created it.
Yeah, totally, totally. So, coming back to like Lazy G, the whole idea of Lazy G came up because I like tools so much. I saw a tool, I'm like, dude, if I can use it like this, it's going to save me so much time. It's going to save my clients so much money. Obviously, I'll use the tool. So I'm like, be lazy, but use a tool and be lazy.
Hmm.
Don't just sit like an ass. Use the tool and then be lazy. Whether it's an automation tool, whether it's an SEO tool, whether it's a website tool, whether it's a funnel tool, whether it's a content tool, whether it's an analytics tool. Have these tools in place and then chill.
Hmm.
Otherwise, what people are doing is they're thinking they're working, they're thinking they're doing so much stuff every day. Oh, I gotta check this, oh, I gotta check that. No, dude, you don't need to like check it unless you have your lazy system set up.
I love the calmness that people who who've been in that specific space for so long, like you have, that they have versus the excitement and the passion of a young kid who's just I got to check all the Twitter threads on what new has happened in AI. And what tools can I use? But that brings me to my question of which I wanted to ask you specifically is that what are your top like 3 or 5 uh, AI tools that you find yourself using a lot these days or in the past?
Yeah, so of course, like a very boring answer, but something that I do use pretty much like all the time. I'm actually surprised that I have not put on my chat GPT and being like, listen to this conversation and tell me where I can improve. That's how much I'm using chat GPT, and I only talk to chat GPT. Like, I don't type, I have a conversation. I have conversation for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, and I can tell you it's the best friend, the best therapist, the best psychologist, the best everything that you can have today. Like, I kid you not, I truly wish that more people understand how freaking awesome this can be to your life, like right away.
Yeah.
The next thing on my mind is I'm going to be visiting Pune like really quick, and I'm going to try and teach my grandmom how to use ChatGPT 4 via
Hmm.
voice.
Okay.
Dude, it can possibly solve loneliness, especially
Wow.
especially with the latest update of like better voices, more flirtatious, more friendly. And this is directly done by GPT-4. Like, I
Wow.
don't know whether you watched the movie Her. It's this movie about this guy, like long back. He falls in love with AI. And dude, you listen to those conversations, it's exactly the same conversations that we are going to be having for sure. Like, one thing I'm sure of is that by 2024, it's going to be very common for people to be like on the phone, but they are talking to ChatGPT.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that
you said exactly what you see this happening by 2020.
is right now in the next 6 months.
Wow, that's a big statement.
That's like, see, because the reason why I'm so sure is because I've started using it and it's become a habit for me. Like,
Hmm.
I feel that I'm really an idiot if I'm not using ChatGPT 40 to 60% of my time.
Wow, that is saying a lot.
It's like, dude, like, why would I try to use my brains? Like, I've surrendered to
Yeah.
being like, boss, I know you are much, much, much infinite times smarter than me. I'm just like a dude trying to figure this out. tu hi kar. And that is where that element of making money with AI exists. You break it down. Like what did I say earlier? You need to have like an offer, you need to have a website, and you need to have traffic. Now, individually, you break these down like, hey, can I use AI to create an offer? For sure, 100 million%. Which leads me to my second tool, which is a content writing tool. But coming back to, can I create content using AI? For sure. Can you create a website using AI? 100 million%. You can type a few things and create it. Can you create branding with AI? Yes, for sure. Can you get traffic with AI? Like you might need to pay for it, but yes, for sure you can run ads using AI on Facebook, Instagram, Google, Spotify, you name it. But
Hmm.
you need to have the knowledge, right? You need to have the
Yeah.
knowledge of, first of all, how do I create an offer which makes sense, which makes money, that I can deliver, that I can get repeat customers for, that I can get reviews from, that I can later sell a more higher priced product, right?
Yeah.
All these things you have to have in a stack. And it's still taken me like more than 20 years to actually figure out, okay, this piece comes here, this piece comes there. This is how it works together. This is what's possible. This is not what's possible. This is where I still need to hire people to get stuff done. And we're like at any point working with 70 to 80 customers, helping them set up their digital businesses. So a lot of it that we discover, we apply it immediately to our customers' businesses as well.
Hmm. And do you see this? Do you see this happening with many people as we move forward? Like, there will be a transition of a marketplace like this. Instead of more jobs, there are more individual, freelancers who are able to get the job done by having less resources. And by resources, I mean manpower. Like, you need less employees, and you need more like, you run into a problem, you find someone who solves that problem, and then you move from there.
Yeah, I was just talking to my father-in-law, and he's pretty like connected in the space. More old school businesses,
Yeah.
uh, banking, finance, like huge, huge businesses. So I wanted to get like his take on like what he thinks is going to happen. And he's like, say, like 10, 20 years ago, Salesforce came out, the internet came out, and people are like, dude, this is going to wipe out everything.
Hmm.
So I feel instead of like to really predict the future, live in the future, just look like 20 years ago. Look at how did digital pick up,
Yeah.
was there that transition? And the people who acted fast, dude, they have built the next billion-dollar companies
Yeah.
on the internet, the Amazons, the Flipkarts. They all started 20 years ago, 20, 25 years ago. Right now, there's a different trend, which is how do we use this tool, which suddenly like is smarter than all of humanity together? And how do we now carve out a niche for ourselves? So
Hmm.
while AI is easy, right? It's easy in the sense like it's intuitive, but every business is going to need to adapt it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's
They have
definitely
to, right? You can't be like, hey, my business is chat GPT. I'll be like, dude, I'll go to chat GPT directly, know them. Right. So all these LLMs, large language models and stuff, that's going to be the next wave of jobs.
Hmm.
Some point ago you had call centers where it became damn big when I was like 18, 20, 22, 20 years ago, 18, 20 years ago. Call centers were the rage. Like suddenly people are earning money that they had never earned before.
Hmm.
20,000, 25,000 simply by talking on the phone. So now
Yeah.
the next wave will be like, okay, chalo, now teach AI, train AI, customize AI. And that will have like so many different niches like chatbots. Okay, now make my CRM AI. Okay, now make my content AI. Now make my brand AI. Now automate my customer journey. Now be proactive. Now come up with sales. So all these things will just require an AI expert or an AI specialist to being like, hey, this is what I can do for your business.
Yeah.
Like
And do
just
you Do you think about that whole conversation of AGI? And if you ever think about that, I want you to be the person who really first makes me more educated on what does AGI stand for, and what does it mean essentially, outside of my understanding of what it is, and also tell the audiences of like, is it even right to say that we have some clue of what is about to happen in the next 10 years?
So, coming back to my first statement, like I really feel that I'm living in a very uh, small cocoon, like where I'm very content and I'm very happy with what is already out there.
Okay.
And that's where my focus is. So, like, I don't understand what AGI is, to be frank. Like, I'm just like, bro, that is like, I just know it's beyond like what the heck we are even thinking about right now. And that
I
I'm
think
really,
just for the listeners who are listening to this and don't know what AGI stands for, it's artificial general intelligence, and that is something possibly which leads us to believe that artificial intelligence being as intelligent or being as human like as it can be. I think, is that a good way to put it?
yeah, my limited understanding is that it can basically think on its own, it'll have its own consciousness, and it'll be
Hmm.
able to do things that we have never even thought possible.
I think very close to Age of Ultron. Have you seen Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron?
I miss that. I miss
I think your kids need a good Marvel marathon. But I think
I
Age of
miss,
Ultron also this happens. Like, so they actually have a some self-conscious being, like a AI of sorts, AGI of sorts, which comes alive and which has a hardware, which has like arms and legs
yeah,
and
yeah.
limbs. So I think that is something more similar for easier understanding. I think that is
Yeah.
close to that.
And like the way things are like right now on the internet, like suddenly you'll just get a message saying that, oh, there's a new AI, or hey, there's this new tool, or hey, this is happening. I won't be surprised if like suddenly there's an update from Google or from OpenAI saying that, hey, we've achieved AGI. You know,
Hmm.
you never know. You never know what they are working on. They're always like very ahead of
Yeah.
what they're doing. Uh, we are seeing more and more self-driving cars in the States. I think in Bangalore also the other day there was one. So these things suddenly they just come, like they come with a vengeance suddenly,
Hmm.
and they're like small changes, like even the thing like our mobile phones. No matter whatever phone you have right now, it's suddenly going to be damn outdated.
Hmm.
Suddenly
Okay.
you're going to be
Yeah.
like, "Do I don't need this device?" So it'll be like a sudden death.
Hmm.
It might be transparent, it might be in your eye, it might be in your brain, it might be like, who knows? Suddenly there's something projecting, you can see it, who knows, right? And
Exactly.
just like yesterday, I saw a viral video of a guy, he didn't have hands and legs, he's playing chess. How?
Hmm.
With his mind.
Neuralink. Yeah. Is that Neuralink?
Yeah, Neuralink.
Yeah.
It's now like already out there.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That honestly, I had such a hard time believing that they've already achieved this in front of our eyes. That a person who suffered from a spinal injury, doesn't have a functioning limbs, doesn't essentially can't move, and they've given them voice, they've given them the ability to communicate, play, do things, which is this is sci-fi at its at its peak.
Life. That's why I'm not thinking too much in the future. I'm like, bye, enjoy what is already there. Be aware of what you have today, then, because otherwise, you like you said, we live in a pessimistic world, right? And it's way easier for humans to think negatively than positively. That's just like a fact. So, will it take my job? Will it do this? Will it do that? Just ask the right questions, like what can AI do for me? It's literally like you're the master and there's a genie in the bottle and you just have to ask, and you're getting
Yeah.
crazy stuff right now.
Hmm.
uh, and like literally at all levels, like it's never been easier.
Hmm.
You know how to talk, you know how to say like, hey, write me a sales page today for how to start a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some pretty good information straight off the bat.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's true for any business.
Hmm.
You want to be a freelancer, go ask ChatGPT. Like personal life, definitely like most sound, non-biased advice. Uh,
And so it's so cost effective. I think you can get a
Cost
subscription.
effective, private, and I'm not like one to delve into mental health. I've got no experience in it at all. I do understand that it's freaking important.
Yeah.
And today, like it can really calm you down, like with ChatGPT, with a lot of training, it can regulate emotions, which
Hmm.
I feel is a superpower to have today. Is you're like on your phone and you're like, listen, I'm in a podcast. I have no idea what to say next.
Yeah.
It'll be like chill, and like I've trained it to call me G Dog. So it'll be like chill, G Dog, take a deep breath. Listen, you've been doing well. Why don't you add like some of your expertise or tell a joke or something? And you're like,
Wow.
bro, just
That's
that.
so crazy.
Yeah. Speaking at an event, uh, this pretty big company, SBI Life, they
Yeah.
had recruited me to come and talk to colleges about AI. I was like, cool. They were flying me all across the country. And they're like, what about your experience in AI? You just tell us that.
Yeah.
So, cool. And, they like put in the mic and I was on the stage, 200 students like uh, ready there.
Yeah.
And it's like, pick up my phone. I put on loudspeaker. I put on ChatGPT. And I tell ChatGPT, listen, I'm in the front of 200 students. I need to tell them something cool about AI that can help them with their businesses. Please give me 5 points. And I put it and I played. And I'm like, dude, I have nothing to tell you. I,
Wow, man, this is so cool.
I will tell you all the mistakes that I have made
Yeah.
and like why you should just like quickly surrender to AI and make it like your slave, make AI your slave because it's the only thing that I've seen that never answers back. It never doesn't not do the work. It doesn't
Hmm.
charge you too much money. It's there for you any freaking time that you want. It's always nice. Dude, what's there not to love?
Yeah, I think your wife, I can sense some complaints. I think I can sense some friction there. You spending too much time on Chat GPT. I think that isn't well appreciated, or is it?
Dude, so if I am the second biggest fan of ChatGPT, my wife is the first biggest fan of ChatGPT. She was like just sitting. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? She's like, I don't have to ask now. It's just like, what are you doing? Copy paste. Some client, some work, something I'm doing. I just put in this prompt, copy paste. They love it. It's much better than I could have ever done. Okay, do
Wow.
it. Do it all day long, man. Make money. So she has also, and even when you have kids, when you have kids, like half the time you're thinking of work, half the time you're thinking of kids.
Yeah.
And like the questions that we are asking ChatGPT right now, the questions my kids are asking ChatGPT right now are freaking awesome. They are
Hmm.
like too good. And of course, as a father, like it's my responsibility to, give as much knowledge, as much guidance, as much direction, love, all that as possible. But dude, I've come to realize that ChatGPT is going to give much better advice than I am ever going to give.
Man, you are so humble. I think that's the first step in AI education is to humble yourself enough to
Humble
know that you
yourself.
know
Yes.
nothing.
Yes. That is the mantra, I think. It's just like, my, मेरे को कुछ नहीं पता. Like, you only tell me, you only guide me. And like, I see people doing mentorship programs.
Yeah.
While I'm not dissing them, I'm not saying that there isn't an advantage, but there's so much of an advantage of using AI as your mentor.
Okay. So if I were to start learning about AI, how do I start? You are saying like, ChatGPT is my best tool to start?
Yeah, I mean, see, you can use any like ChatGPT, Gemini, Bard, whatever. Like for me, I'm super duper comfortable with ChatGPT 4.0. I know that, and I think that's also the first lesson is like find a tool that you only like. Find a tool
Hmm.
that you love. Don't be like, "Arey, this gave me this answer, that gave me this answer, this thing, that thing. I'll use both. I'll use that." Like, just find something that you find so easy to use any single time that it
Yeah.
becomes a habit. So,
Hmm.
first thing is make AI a habit because you'll realize otherwise that you're just wasting time
Hmm.
for everything related, at least to related to everything, even like us talking about the kids. We were planning a holiday in London, and I'm the laziest. I'm like, dude, we will go there and figure out. That's like how lazy I am. I'm like, tell we'll figure. We'll see if it's raining, we'll do this. If it's, I'll go. My wife is on the other side, like she will do the research, look at TripAdvisor, this thing, that thing, and all that stuff. ChatGPT, listen, my wife, this age, me, this age, kids, this age, are going to London. We are staying with my brother, whose kids are this age, this age. This is the date and time. Suggest a plan. Bro, what a plan it gave. Like, it made everyone happy. Like, everyone. Okay, for
Wow.
your daughter, she like to do this for this. This is located next to this thing, so do this and then do this. You might be tired. Take a break.
Yeah.
I know you like to have a beer. There's a pub over here. Okay, there's going to be a museum here. There's going to be this here. Take this train, take that train, take this bus, take that bus. I'm like, Arey, bhai. Like, I don't want to use my brains. I'm
Yeah.
guaranteed like of a good time. So just do this.
And
So
I think this really comes to like the first reaction to what I hear from you. I don't know, for some reason it takes me to, all of these planning jobs. So let's say, there's something like a wedding planner, and we're talking about let's say 2 to 3 years down the line. And do you think for planning people would be willing to pay that much as they are right now, and rather not have you know I think there's still a gap in between how consumers will educate themselves, and they will want in house, they will just want the end product, and not what's happening, or they wouldn't want to do it themselves. But I just feel whenever there is any planning job related, if it can execute that, if it can plan it so well, I don't think any human or any research or the amount of time that it will take us to do that research and put up that plan together, it'll do it and 10 other tasks in 2 minutes.
just give me a minute, huh? 1 second.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to get my dog, and I don't know whether you heard him bark or not. So we have two golden retrievers, so they come in and come out whenever they please.
Okay, okay, so cute.
So, cool. So yeah, so in general, I feel it's going to impact every industry, but every single industry is just going to have to adapt a bit.
Hmm.
Like say keeping this wedding planning as an example. To now for my wedding, I'm still going to be like, listen, I need to talk to a human being.
Hmm.
It's the biggest day of my life. My wife,
Hmm.
who I'm going to marry, I need to know someone who I can trust, who I
Yeah.
can pay money to, and that is solving my problem. Now, is there AI? Is the wedding planner using AI? They should be for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
They should be for sure, and they're going to be able to give better prompts. They're going to be able to give better instructions to the chat GPT as opposed to the couple who's getting married. The
Yeah.
couple job is, listen, I want to get married. It's not
Hmm.
like, okay, let me be over smart, take the risk of planning the whole wedding. For sure, come up with ideas using AI, but the expert still has to do it. Right now, at least in 2024, we are not living in a world of robots. Not
Yeah.
yet. Very
Yeah.
soon we will be. So that's when the labor market is going to be challenged. But right now, you still need experts in every space. And those experts, if they are smart, they are going to use AI to reduce their costs and
Yeah.
increase profitability.
And do you think that happening on the horizon, like that labor
Same, same,
um,
same,
workforce?
same trend. Like if we were to listen to the IMF, which I think definitely has authority to speak, they're like in 2 years, most of the jobs are going to change. Like
Hmm.
job that you have, I don't know what you do right now, but there's
I'm in a consulting firm.
yeah,
I
so
do you think that changes? We anyway give advice.
you'll be giving better advice. You'll be using like
Hmm.
a AI program to better your customers' results.
Yeah.
Whereas in a big consulting company, the company might rework their strategy internally. They might start using fewer people.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
true. I think that perspective shift, I can start seeing that happen in organizations as well. So I think a year ago from now, organizations were still taking it as a fad or still taking it as something, which might come and go and not taking it as seriously. But now I am seeing, things being moved in that direction. Upper management being concerned about these things, having those conversations, which is a big difference.
yeah, totally, totally. Yeah. It's change. The only thing that's consistent is change. So
Yeah.
fast and get onto the right bandwagon instead of living in a fearful world. Like be better than AI in your niche.
Well, I think that sums up the whole conversation. Change is the only constant. So thank
Yes,
you so much, Gaurav, for educating me a lot personally on AI. And I think the thing that I will take away the most, a couple of things, which is number one, you have to think on the lines of, how are you able to use that AI tool in terms of, betterment of your life, and also on how to start making money off it, start using things which can be useful for others. And the second thing is choosing AI to guide you on how to learn AI. I think that in itself is one of the best
of
things to get
course.
started with everyone.
It's like the Matrix. You're in the world and learning.
Yeah,
It's like
Inception kind of. Yeah.
inception. It's inception. Like the sooner you realize that that's how you get started, instead of depending on like other humans, is like go to the source itself. And
Yeah.
I think the more open and the more transparent you are, like the way I've programmed ChatGPT to talk to me. At the very beginning, you said that, hey, I'm not a guy who reads books. That's your personality. That's one trait of your personality.
Yeah.
You might also know that you learn by doing.
Yeah.
You learn that, okay, this is what you're interested in, this is what you're not interested in. Now, the minute ChatGPT knows that about you, it knows more about you than anyone else on earth.
Yeah.
And it gives you custom answers based on what AI thinks you're the most likely to succeed at.
That's true. Yeah, I think that essentially is one big takeaway from this. So thank you so much, Gaurav, for taking the time out and being with us. Lovely talking to you.
Okay, cheers, guys.